everybody, welcome to Big Boys Toys. I'm James. We're out here in the showroom today and we're going to talk about how I get in and out of cars. Now this covers any car, but we're going to do it in the 92 GTS today. I'm going to show you in that car. But it applies to all cars that I get in and out of, regardless of make or model. And I don't ever get into tall cars, mind you. I have some friends in wheelchairs that can get in and out of pretty tall trucks and SUVs. Man, I don't know how they do it. I can't do it. My shoulders, they just won't allow it. I also have a lot of spasticity, so my legs will vibrate when I move them around, and that makes it more difficult as well. None of my friends with spasticity jump in or none of my friends with spasticity get in and out of big, tall vehicles, but my friends that don't have any spasticity, those are the guys that can jump in and out of these tall cars. So it must have something to do with spasticity. But anyway, let's get on to the video, and I'm gonna show you how I get in and out of these cars. Let's do this. I'm gonna get a little help from my Whippet today. One of my Whippets. I couldn't even tell which one that was. I think that was Leia. I've been in a wheelchair 33 years. My injury level is thoracic vertebrae 5, so we say T5, which is right here. So I don't feel or control the movement of anything below that level. If you have a T8, T10, T12, whatever, you're lower down. You may have abdominal muscles that are obviously helpful. I don't have that. I have pectoral muscles and that's it. What else should I tell you about this before we get started on the actual getting in and out of the car? I use a non-folding, a rigid wheelchair is what we call it. It's not like the kind that you see at a hospital that fold up like this and that have handles and somebody pushes you around. We call those Iron Maidens. They weigh a ton. They'd be terrible for anybody who wants to be active and who's in a wheelchair. So I use a much lighter weight, rigid frame wheelchair. I've used that kind of a wheelchair since the second year I was in a wheelchair. And they're fairly lightweight. I guess mine are really lightweight. My doctor says that they've never weighed a chair that was lighter than my last chair. I'm sitting in a brand new chair that I got 3 days ago, and it's made of aluminum. My previous wheelchair was carbon fiber, and the chairs prior to that were titanium. Unfortunately, insurance will not pay for carbon fiber or titanium anymore. That's Leia right there. She just got spayed this week. So I'm stuck with aluminum, which they've become better with their technology. So they're not as heavy as even the aluminum chairs used to be. I weighed the frames. My carbon fiber frame came in at 13.6 pounds. My titanium frame that I was using just prior to the carbon fiber frame came in at 14.0, but it has these fold out things on the front that you could put, like I use it for my guitar, but you could put like, a briefcase or suitcase, small suitcase on it or whatever. If I took those off, it would probably weigh less than the carbon fiber frame actually. It's a little smaller frame. It's a 16-inch wide as opposed to a 17-inch wide like my carbon fiber frame. Then this brand new chair that I'm sitting in right now that's black with gold wheels, it weighs, the frame weighs 15 pounds on that one. And then I have an older titanium chair that was a special edition. It was a 10th anniversary edition from the company Tylite that makes the chairs that I've used in the past other than the carbon fiber one. And so that chair, the backrest didn't work for me. It just didn't fit me right. So I left the chair set for a long time. I ended up with another chair that I didn't like. It was an aluminum frame chair, but the parts on that chair would fit on the titanium chair with the back that didn't work. So I got an idea of how we could modify the titanium chair to accept this different back. And I may do a video on that later. And I went to a friend of mine who's a machinist and has a full-on machine shop. And we managed to make that chair work. So we just completed that 2 weeks ago. So I actually kind of have like 2 new chairs in 2 weeks, which is very unusual because you usually have to wait 5 years. So anyway, let's get on with the transfers. Hope you enjoyed, hope you find it useful. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. Always appreciated. And we will get this show on the road. So when you're transferring into any vehicle, or actually any transfer at all, slide the smooth end under your thigh, put the rougher end on the place that you're going. So we're getting in the car here. This is my 92 928 GTS, and so I'm going to slide this under my thigh. Always a challenge. And then I'm going to kick my feet off the footrests. That's the next step. And I always have to check to be sure I haven't caught pants under the front of the sliding board. Otherwise, it'll start pushing the sliding board off. Scoot to the edge of the wheelchair, still on the sliding board, of course. And you can see that it's a downhill slope from here. And I'm going to push up over the main wheel of my wheelchair and onto the sliding board. Well, I didn't get all the way in one shot. It took me 2. Now I get my balance again, and then slide the rest of the way in to the car, and then just let gravity do its thing, because it works every time it's tried. And once I'm in, pull the sliding board out. Next step will be to start getting the wheelchair into the car, and I start with the sliding board, and I put it so that it's in the floorboard and on the front of the passenger seat. Then I remove my cushion, Roho cushion, set it on top of the sliding board, unlock the wheels on my wheelchair, like that. Pull the wheel off, set the chair down, spin it around, hold the wheel of the car, set the wheelchair wheel in the back. Now we do the second one. Same thing, goes right in the back, just like that. Now legs come in the car next. Now in the Porsches, because they're so low and there isn't a lot of headroom, you want to lower the seat as far as it'll go. You start with the seat in its highest position so that the slope down into the car or out of the car is as little as it can be. Once the seat's all the way down, grab the wheelchair, lower the back. I'm grabbing the bar under the wheelchair right here, and in this car I'll put my hand, my free hand, up on the roof of the car to help me bring it in, and I bring the chair in with one hand, remove my wife's long hair from the chair, and then set the chair in the passenger seat. There's not a lot of space in this car between me and the ceiling of the car, so it's much more difficult getting a wheelchair in and out of any kind of sports car. My Mustang is not nearly as difficult as this, but it's still easier to put the wheelchair in my car in the Mustang when the top's down. Coming out is 100% the opposite of going in. So I grab the front of the chair as well as the bar underneath the chair, bring it across my chest with the seat in its lowest position, set it down, and this is the way my wheelchairs can balance like this. So as long as there's not a breeze and the slope of whatever it is you're sitting on isn't against you as far as that goes, I can balance my chairs on their nose, so to speak. So I always do that. I always just balance the chair. Of course, then the next step is getting your feet out of the car. And a lot of times I like to grab up here because a lot of cars today will have the rain gutter further in, and there's actually a lip you can hold on to. Not so much on this car or convertibles usually either. So I usually just put my hand up here. The next step is the wheels. So I reach behind, hope I don't have a spasm and knock my wheelchair over. Pull the wheel out, put it on. Just leave it here. And you notice if you leave it up against the door like this, it'll stay, the wheelchair will stay up so it won't fall over and bang the back of the wheelchair. It just keeps it a little cleaner and a little less scratched up. Now we'll do the next wheel. Come on. There we go. These are brand new, so they're still a little bit tight, getting everything on. Now start getting the wheelchair in position, grab the cushion and the transfer board together. Cushion. Next, lock the wheels on the chair so it doesn't roll away. Back when I was younger, when I first got my first Porsche, and probably up until really 2013 when I had a bad shoulder injury, I could get in and out of the car without even locking my wheels. I didn't need a transfer board. I didn't need to lock my wheels or anything. Now I'm raising the seat up to its maximum height position. It gives me a little bit less of a hill to climb up. I lay the seat back again because I had pulled the seat back forward so that the seat itself would go down. Now I put a hand on the transfer board. I got my elbow on the backrest. I got my right hand on the steering wheel. All that to just help me get into this first position. About halfway up the transfer board, I'll go another quarter of the way up the transfer board until I get to the wheel of the car. Now I can get my hand off the transfer board. My right hand is still on the bottom of the transfer board on the seat bottom of the car because I still don't want the transfer board to move. I've got my left hand on the wheel of the wheelchair, and I'll just finish the transfer. Pull the board out, and we're good to go. Pop the locks off, put your feet on the footrests, and you're done. Living in Texas, I'm fortunate. It's a pretty friendly state. When I go places, I don't think there's ever a time that I've been out getting in and out of a car. Not every time I get in and out of the car, but at some point during a day when I'm doing transfers in and out of a car, someone asks if they can help me. I always kindly decline because they don't understand how all this works and would just get in the way and slow me down. But it's always very nice to have people offer. So I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. One more thing before I go. If you are moving to or leaving the Austin area and need help buying, selling, or renting a house, please be sure to shoot an email to my wife. She's a wonderful realtor, and she will be happy to help you find a place. And she understands crazy guys with their need for big garages and places to store their toys. So give her a shout and she can help you out. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you soon.